Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to Ghosts in Depth. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the tactical knife and a potential IED Nerf. The episode was originally just going to be the tactical knife, but we got this new IED Nerf floating on the horizon that I wanted to talk about, more in a personal sense, mind you. But we're going to talk about the tactical knife first. The gameplay that you're going to get to see is me using the tactical knife on every single secondary weapon on which it's available. Different maps, different strategies, different stuff, but good gameplay all around. What the tactical knife does is it greatly reduces the knifing recovery time. The amount of time that it takes for you to pull your knife out of somebody is much faster with the tactical knife, and that sounds crazy because it's supposed to increase your stabbing out time, but the stab time, or the time at which it takes you to actually kill somebody with a knife, is pretty much instant with or without the tactical knife or with the combat knife. However, with the combat knife and with the new guns, Call of Duty Ghosts has a system where you go through an animation, you kind of lock on somebody and you struggle for just a second, you stab them in the heart or the neck or in the back or whatever, and it's a slower system. It's supposed to be a more realistic one than kind of flinging your wet banana around and hitting somebody and killing them like in previous Call of Duty games. I personally like it. However, there is a disadvantage to it, and that's that it's slower, and once you lock onto somebody with a knife, you're stuck there for a little bit. The tactical knife pretty much removes this lock-on mechanic, or makes it very fast. It basically gives you old school Call of Duty knifing, where you don't necessarily have to, go through the animation. You can just kind of swipe them a little bit, but it's much faster animation, so you can just put the knife in and take it out, and they're totally dead. And what this means is you can knife much faster, you can knife multiple people faster, and if you miss, there is not nearly as much penalty for missing. That happens a lot of times in this game. I'll panic knife, and I'll miss, and the other guy sees me, flailing my knife in the air like an idiot, and he can just shoot me in the meantime, whereas with the tactical knife, I would just keep rushing and keep stabbing, and it would, get him pretty quickly. This is very good on secondary weapons, especially if you play aggressive. If you're doing something like sniping, and your secondary is an M9A1 or P226, these are the most common ones, it's very nice to have these two-shot kill weapons to be able to kill them up close, but sometimes they're too close, sometimes you just need to go in hard with a knife, and having the tactical knife, again, doesn't make you knife faster, but it makes that penalty much lesser. If you miss your first knife, you can follow up with the second knife very well. The gameplay that you see here probably isn't representative of normal tactical knife gameplay, but you can see how this mechanic works. That's all for the tactical knife discussion. The rest of this episode is going to be on the upcoming IED Nerf, and it's relevant because the gameplay that you haven't seen is the 8 million IEDs that I've run over. Obviously, this gameplay is edited. I played about 5 or 6 games and took the best clips from each one, but there were IEDs everywhere. I had to run Blast Shield, Ballistic Vest, and Sit Rep on every single class in order to avoid most of these, and it wasn't even perfect. I still ran into them. I still got forced into them. I didn't notice them in time. I had them chunked at me. People were running them with danger close, stacking them on top of each other. It was very frustrating. So I tweeted the Infinity Ward team about it. I tweeted Tina, Joe Seacott, he's a developer, and Candice Lexia, and I said, would it be possible to further nerf the IED? Restrict having 2 of them, maybe restrict IED and danger close. IED equals sadness, and much to my surprise, Candy tweeted me back, or Candice Cape, and you've probably seen her on Twitter. She says, we're looking at options, smiley face. And this was like a light of sunshine lighting up my life and my day. Thank God these annoying IEDs are going to be nerfed again. Something is going to happen with them. They got one nerf, and I thought at the end of this video it would be constructive to maybe throw out some ideas on how I would nerf the IED if I were in charge, or just, give the community some ideas. You guys can totally disagree with me if you want. If you think they should be in the game, please tell me down in the comments how they're useful or not useful. Basically, with the IED, I would restrict having 2 of them. Maybe you should only have 1. That way, if you're running Blast Resist, or if you dodge 1 or something like that, you can still survive. What people have been doing is putting 1 on top of the other, so if you jump over it, it still kills you, or 1 on the ceiling and 1 on the floor, so there's nowhere to go. Another way to do it would be to make it where you can't use this with danger close. With danger close, it's essentially the same effect as having 2 of them. The blast shield perk, the ballistic vest, none of that really helps you. Sit rep still works very well if you're able to avoid them, but if you get close to them, you're just going to die no matter what. Another good thing you could do is get a longer or earlier beeping time. The beeping time is a little bit less than 1 second. You get about, 0.8, 0.9 seconds, something like that, of total beeping, and if you can't react and then get out of the way in 0.8 or 7 seconds or whatever, you die, and that's just too bad. And I don't feel that's enough time, especially because the beeping noise is not very loud. I believe it should beep for a longer period of time, or maybe give an earlier warning as you get closer so that they're easier to avoid. The IED's already got a blast radius reduction. It might not hurt to peel that back again, though I don't think that's the most original of ideas. Making the explosive weaker probably won't change how people use them, they'll just stack more of them again. Another thing you could do is make the LED light brighter or do new colors. The bag is brown. The game has this sort of color filter of like this dirty, dusty future warfare thing, and the IED bag itself is brown. It blends in very, very well. It does have a beeping LED light on it that's red, but for my eyes that's not very distinct. Bearing in mind I do have a mild color blindness, so maybe it's much more obvious for you than it is for me. For me it's just hell on earth. I almost never see them unless I have sitrep on. Or a more novel idea is to totally leave them alone. Don't change IEDs at all, but make sitrep and blast shield 1-point perks so that they're much more commonly used and that you won't have as big a problem with IEDs. That's pretty cool. That's one way to do it. That's what I would do it. That's what this in-depth episode is largely about, and the tactical knife. I hope you enjoyed the tactical knife footage. It was kind of fun getting. Well guys, that's all for this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you learned something useful. If you'd like to check out the previous episode that was on the support squad mates, the next one's going to be on the thermal sight, potentially increasing accuracy. Got some testing to do there. As always, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.